Attachment is the root of all suffering. The Buddha himself said that. The Buddha, so this is the quote of the day, right? And let's put this into context here. The Buddha, that motherfucker, sat under a tree and meditated for God knows how long, okay? And then comes out of with one conclusion, right? After all of this, comes out with one conclusion. Attachment is the root of all suffering. So I think it's worth when a motherfucker like that, right? An enlightened motherfucker like that, self-realized being, goes into this next level deep meditation, comes out and tells people, hey, by the way, after I spend all these years, I figure out that, hey, the conclusion of life, attachment is the root of all suffering. Let's think about that for a second, okay? Attachments come in many shapes and forms. Let's take a small example, and we'll take a big example as well. Small example. Say I've seen this happen in front of my eyes, right? There was this lady, older lady, maybe in her 50s or so, and she was in her nice BMW car. And then she gets out of the car, she's going somewhere, and then she looks at the car, and there seems to be a scratch on the car. Seems to be. I was trying to see if there was, but there was some sort of a something that disrupted the car's image from her perspective, from her perception, right? And she was pissed off. She was upset, right? She was suffering. She created her own suffering because she's attached so much to this car, and she's attached so much to the external image of the car, and it's her attachment to this car, right? Caused her suffering because now she's pissed. It was a beautiful sunny summer day, right? It was like a day that nothing in the world, unless it's like something drastic, something like as drastic as your mother passing away or something, nothing at that point, none of the mundane stuff should bother you on that day. But she was bothered, she was pissed, she was upset, and probably her entire day was ruined due to her attachment to this car, the external image of it, and the perfection of it. That's perfectionism, right? With materialism comes perfectionism. And you create your own suffering that way because you're attached to a certain image. When in reality, the only constant in life is change. See, if we don't go with the flow of life and we don't just go with the changes and the ups and downs and the laughters and the cries, we suffer because we resist the flow of life. We resist what life is doing through us, what God is doing through us, right? So we create a suffering. I'll give you a bigger example, a more drastic one. Let's talk. Let's say your mother passes away. This is the person that raised you in this life, that gave her health, her blood, her sleep. She given her entire being to raise you. And she loves you like nobody will ever love you. A mother's love for her child is the closest thing we get from God's love to us, the children. And that is how much love there is. We are love, and everything is love. However, let me get back from this hippy-dippy bullshit rant, get back to your mom passing away. That is, my goodness, that is gonna cause a lot of grievance, right? I definitely know if I get a phone call right now telling me that my mom has passed away, I would burst in tears, rivers of tears, for God knows how long. For God knows how long. I don't know. I can't say, but here's the thing. So I'm suffering right now. You see, like I'm suffering because somebody I love dearly, the person that will always love me the most, has passed away. That's shocking, and I'm suffering here. But the more I attach, you see, like the more I'm attached to how things should be. Oh, my mother has always been here for me, should always be there. The more I'm gonna suffer, and it might take me years of before I can get over my mom's passing. But if I, in that moment, just go with the suffering, feed it 110%, and just keep crying and crying and crying and crying, you know what's going to happen? At some point, there's going to be no more tears left, because that's just the flow of life, and you're going to want to move on with life. This is going to happen with everyone. This is the truth of life, right? For most of us young folks, at some point in our life, we're going to have this happen to us. The chances are, I mean, who knows, I could die right now and my mom's going to be the one to have to, go through that. But chances are, we're working with probability here. Most of us young people, at some point, we're going to get that phone call saying, like, your mom has passed away, your dad has passed away. And you know what? We're going to grieve and cry, and, that's going to happen. But the more we attach, right? The more we attach, the more we're going to keep crying and creating this suffering for ourselves, versus this is what's happening. I'm feeling like really, my heart's broken. My mother has passed away. You go with it, you feel it, and then you say, hey, this is the nature of life, and everything moves on, and I will be dead too, and everyone that I know will be dead, and nothing lasts. So I'm gonna honor my mom's memory, and I know if she was here, she would want me to keep going and be happy, right? And then you just kind of sort of alleviate your suffering and her suffering, because I think she will suffer. The more you suffer, the more you suffer, and then you just sort of start to move on again with life. This is something we're all gonna have to face. You see? Most of us watching this video are gonna have to face. So just recognizing that the very essence of this earthly dimension that we're in, this Maya, this illusion, is that of change. Everything is always moving, everything is always changing. And the more we can let go, and the more we can go with the flow of life and the flow of change that is happening through us, because we are part of life, we are part of the divine, we are life, we have life force, the less of suffering we will have, because it seems that suffering is something we just have to do. I'm not gonna, man, my mom passes away, man, I'm gonna be crying like oceans, not just rivers, right? Suffering is there, but it's how much are you willing to let go and attach less, versus how much you're willing to cling. And the more your ego wants to cling on to things and this this temporary flicker of existence that is absolutely nothing but a blink of an eye in terms of eternity, the more we suffer. The more we are able to let go of everything, let go of the tears, let go of the crying, let go of the laughter, let go of everything, and just sort of be in the moment, the happier and the more smooth, let's say, this ride is. Because it's not always going to be happy and joyful, but we can make it smooth. So we can even be smooth in our sadness, smooth in our tears, smooth in our crying, because we understand that nothing lasts and everything moves. So that's enough. I don't usually like to make these quote of the day videos long, but I guess this one carried on. And I mean, it kind of makes sense. If the motherfucking Buddha goes into meditation and says, this is the conclusion of life, it's worth reflecting on. And I can actually probably talk about this for hours and hours on end, and probably should. But we'll end this video here. Check out my free book, 5 Powerful Habits to Dominate Life in All Areas. It's for free. Will help you with your life, with everything. Other than that, I love you guys. But don't forget to subscribe, or you're gonna sleep with the fishes.